Hi everyone, in today's video I want to talk about fruit and whether or not you should be incorporating fruit into your carnivore diet. This is a very common client question that we get all the time. People want to know whether they can have fruit and if they do want to have fruit, how they can incorporate fruit into their diet so that they can still maximize weight loss results. Now, today's video is going to be on 5 factors that you should take into consideration when you are deciding whether or not to incorporate fruit into your diet. Now, if you're new here, my name is Alice and I've lost 40 pounds on my own weight loss journey. My husband has lost 50 pounds on his weight loss journey, and together we've been on a ketogenic meat-based diet for over 2.5 years. Now, there are a ton of different opinions on the internet about whether fruit should or shouldn't be allowed on a carnivore diet. Really, in my opinion, I don't think there is any right or wrong. This is not like a black and white subject. I don't think it's a matter of should or shouldn't, but I think the real question, and probably what you want to know, is whether fruit is right for you on the carnivore diet. Because everyone's body is different when it comes to this way of eating. So just because fruit is right for one person doesn't mean it's gonna be right for another person. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel, and let's get right into it. Now, the first thing to consider is, why are you on this diet in the first place? Is it for fat loss? Is it for optimizing your hormones or healing? Is it because you like meat and you want to try this plant-free thing? There are so many reasons why a person would deviate or want to go to the carnivore diet. Weight loss really just is one reason of all of the possible reasons. So really, for this first step, we want to take a step back from all of the discussions about whether we should or shouldn't be eating fruit or whatever, and just think about your own goals. What are you on this diet for? Now, one thing I can say is, based on my experience and Kevin's experience and our experience working with our own coaching clients, if you are on the carnivore diet to get in shape, to lose a few pounds, to look good in your clothes, and you are on this way of eating for fat loss and mainly fat loss only, then keeping net carbs as low as possible is what will really optimize your results. There are some people that choose this carnivore way of eating because they believe it's the right thing to do. They are happy with the way they look, they're happy with the way they feel, or maybe they are on this diet for autoimmune conditions, or they're trying to go on this diet for some sort of hormonal healing. If weight loss and fat loss is not your primary goal when it comes to this way of eating, then I would say that it's your choice of whether or not you want to incorporate fruit. But if you are looking to lose as much weight as possible in the shortest time frame possible, then I would recommend, staying away from fruit or trying to keep fruit as minimal as possible. Obviously, if you are insulin resistant or you have diabetes or you're on blood sugar medications, then you should consult your doctor or whoever you are working with whenever you are making any sort of dietary changes. But again, if none of those things apply to you and it's really just about looking good and getting in shape, then I would recommend keeping the fruit to a minimum. Number 2 is asking yourself whether you are eating fruit because you have a sweet tooth. Now, this next point is a bit of a self-reflection, if you will, but ask yourself this. Are you the type of person that can control yourself when you eat fruit? If you have historically had any sort of sweet tooth or sugar addiction problems, just be honest with yourself and ask yourself, are you using fruit as an excuse to eat sugar? If you can eat fruit and control yourself and it doesn't contribute to any sort of cravings and it isn't a trigger food for you, then I think that's great. If you ever eat fruit and feel the need to eat more fruit, then just ask yourself whether it might be an excuse to eat more sweet things. Now, if you are struggling to cut out fruit, or maybe you're interested in understanding how you can strategically incorporate fruit here and there while still maximizing your weight loss results, both of these situations are things that I would be able to help with as a weight loss coach. There are ways to strategically build it into your plan while still making sure that your plan sets you up for success to look good and be in shape. Factor number 3 to consider is your metabolism. Now, every human body has a different metabolism. We all have a friend in our lives that never seems to gain weight no matter how much he or she eats. I personally have some friends that can eat whatever they want, maybe like 200 to 300 grams of carbs a day. They can go drinking all weekend and wake up on Monday morning with a 6-pack. I'm not exaggerating. I know quite a few people in my life that are like this. They can just eat whatever they want and never gain weight, and weight never seems to be a problem for them, no matter what they do. Now, I know I'm personally not like that, and chances are if you are watching this video today, then you are probably not like that either. There are just so many mysterious factors that go into play when it comes to a person's metabolism. And only you know how your body responds to fruit best. Some people are just more sensitive to fruit than others. For example, with Kevin, I know that once he eats fruit, he retains water very quickly and actually gains weight very quickly. And for myself, I don't retain water quickly, but I know that if I start eating higher sugar fruits, for me, it's like just a reason to eat more fruit. I remember when we first started Carnivore, we were doing just regular Carnivore, and then we saw this whole like meat and fruit trend online. So we started incorporating some high sugar fruits and honey into our diet. And before you knew it, we were just eating lots and lots of mangoes and bananas. I remember Kevin just ended up doming half a jar of honey in a very short amount of time. And we both ended up just gaining weight. So Carnivore is a high fat and high protein diet. And if you start incorporating fruit, then you're basically eating a high fat, high protein, and like moderate-ish to high carb diet. So from a macronutrient perspective, even if you start to eat some fruit and you lower your meat intake, that ends up being a moderate carb, moderate protein, and moderate fat diet, which from a macronutrient perspective, that kind of just sounds like the standard American diet all over again. Again, if you are on this diet because you believe it's the right thing to do and you are generally someone that's happy with the weight, happy with the way you look, and you're just trying to maintain your weight or body composition, then I would say that, you know, there's nothing wrong with trying to experiment with fruit. But for a targeted weight loss program, if weight loss really is your main and primary goal, if you're trying to get into shape and look good in your clothes, then I would say try to stay away from the fruit if possible. For myself, I would say that I'm pretty in tune with my own body. I do stay away from fruit because I know that fruit triggers my sweet tooth, and I know once I start to eat fruit, for me, it's just like an excuse to eat more fruit. I remember growing up, I'm the type of person that could eat half a watermelon in one sitting because it's healthy. I could eat like a gigantic bowl of grapes in one sitting, again, because it's healthy. And I was just like, oh, this is healthy. Has nutrients. I can just keep eating and eating. And I didn't realize that I was easily eating 100 grams of sugar in one sitting. Now, I have talked about my journey in overcoming sugar addiction, and one of the things that I mentioned is that the reason why I started this low carb way of eating is because of my sweet tooth. When I had multiple borderline root canals and I was trying to improve my teeth situation, that's one of the reasons why I started low carb in the first place and started cutting out sugars in the first place, was because I was basically taking Advil almost every single day because I had such bad and sensitive teeth. I did notice, this is just based on my experience, that fruit did still trigger sensitivities. So it wasn't as bad as like a brownie or a cheesecake would hurt my teeth, but whenever I ate fruit, my teeth still hurt. And that's because there is still sugar in fruit. Obviously there are nutrients as well, but purely from like a teeth healing perspective, I found that cutting the fruit out entirely is something that really helped get my teeth feeling normal again. Is fruit better than eating an Oreo? Absolutely. Fruit has nutrients in it and an Oreo does not. But did the fruit still make my teeth sensitive? It absolutely still did. Next factor is how active are you and how often do you exercise? Now, if you are extremely physically active, you do a lot of exercise, or maybe you're an athlete, then you've probably heard of the concept of carbing up, which is very popular amongst like athletes, people who play sports, training for some sort of event, are really into fitness, as well as people who do a lot of cardio. Now, whether or not it's necessary to carb up is subject to your own opinion. But I think one thing that we can all agree on is there are just people out there who do a ton of cardio, who work out a ton. Maybe they spend hours and hours at the gym, play a ton of sports, do hiking, maybe just are very physically active and already in great shape to begin with. Those types of people can generally get away from eating carbs and eating a high carb diet because their body just basically burns whatever they're eating. I do want to say that Kevin and I have worked with our own coaching clients that are athletes, including one Boston Marathon runner, several people who do CrossFit regularly, and also a girl who is a competitive swimmer. And all of these people have done absolutely great on Carnivore on a high fat, moderate to high protein diet with no carbs. Based on what I've learned from talking with them, these people have unlimited amounts of energy. The diet only improves their training. It doesn't take away from it. I know there are more professional athletes, people in MMA, people doing bodybuilding that are doing well on high fat, high protein, and low carb diets. And they've started to adopt this way of eating and haven't seen any any impact on their training. I hope as we evolve as a society, the concept of carbing up will eventually be seen more and more as like the older school way of thinking, whereas the newer school train of thought is more advocates for a ketogenic, low carb approach. I have personally been on high fat, high protein and low carb macros for a very long time now. I work out every day. This diet gives me an abundance of energy to work out. I recover very quickly. It's been amazing for my training. And on top of that, just being in a physique that I'm happy and comfortable with in combination with great training results, I really personally have no reason to go back to the old way of standard American diets that are, high carb, high seed oil, grains, and processed foods. Now, if you are on the carnivore diet for fat loss, we do have some free resources for you to check out, which we will leave in the description below. Kevin and I are very passionate about spreading the message on this way of eating. So there is a free guide on how to get started on the carnivore diet based on our 5-step approach, as well as a free masterclass where Kevin and I go over the top 4 mistakes that people make that keep them stuck with fat loss on carnivore. So again, we will leave those in the description link below to check out if you are interested. If you liked my video today, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Leave me a comment down below of whether or not you incorporate fruit into your diet, how you incorporate it, and what your results have been like so far. Until next time,